Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
6, 2024 Recreation Advisory Board meeting to order. We'll start the meeting if everyone wants to go around and introduce themselves. For the record, I think Joanna's going to do the minutes from the video. So she'll be taking our minutes afterwards. If you guys could just go ahead and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Mike Whistler, board member.
Jen Harrington, board member.
Nick Norton, board member.
Dan Provost, board member.
Can also go around as well.
Greg Beeson, Parks and Rec Director.
David Tovey, assistant director.
Hi, listen to you. Ooh.
Check. There we go.
Caroline Neal, recreation coordinator.
And Nancy Belanger, select board representative.
Excellent, thank you guys. So we will start. We have no public comment from what I see. Never know if anybody's in the hallway and wants to jump in. It's always exciting if we get public comment. And then if everyone had the opportunity, since there's no public comment, to take a look at the May 29th minutes.
I'm not a voting member, but can I make one little suggestion?
Yes.
On the second page,
Yep.
6D, it just says OPM instead of Operations Project Manager,
Okay.
and not everyone knows what OPM.
We can
Stands
change
for,
that. Use
so
it
maybe spell it
6D. OPM. Hi, how are you, Brad?
So excited.
I know, you're official. Operation Program.
Is it Operation
OPM.
Have that
Owner
changed
project manager?
easy.
Project?
Owner's project manager.
Yeah. Mike's shaking his head yes.
It is Operations Program Manager,
I
correct?
think it's owner's.
Owner's project manager.
Owner's project.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I said it wrong, didn't I? My
But you know what,
apologies.
even better though, that means it needs to be added in there then. All right, we can add that. Checkbook and pencil. Anything else that we found? All right, if everything looks good in there and we're all right with it, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the May 29th, 2024 meeting.
I would move that we approve the minutes with the note of explaining OPM as owner's project manager.
Okay, so adding that to it, to approve it once that's added in there.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If no, then I will take a vote. All those in favor of approving the May 29th, 2024 minutes with the OPM definition spelled out in it, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, we approve the minutes of May 29th, 2024. Thank you. All right, we are going to move on to recaps.
Quick recap, thank you, Steph. We have issued an RFQ for a construction manager for 10 Hampton Road. We worked with Dave Sharples, our town planner, David and Melissa Roy, our assistant town manager. We put it out 2 weeks ago? A week ago?
It's been a blur. Yeah, it's been about a week.
Yeah, and we had to follow specific guidelines from CDFA. We had to post it on the New Hampshire Department of Transportation website, which then
CDFA is,
Community Development
Finance Authority.
Yeah.
they also put it on minority websites, but we also emailed out to several, well, a couple dozen construction firms that do construction management. So we're hoping to have some proposals submitted to us on July 10th.
Greg, is that the deadline, July 10th?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep. And they're going to the town manager's office, and then we'll be reviewing them, and hopefully we have enough. We'll conduct interviews, and I know Mike and Nick said they'd like to sit in on it, and Steph. So we'll let you know when we can schedule some interviews. So hopefully we can, our goal is to have them signed on, to first go to the select board and get approval to sign a contract with them. And then from there, have an RFP put out for the renovation once they complete the construction documents needed, and with construction starting in September.
Awesome. When do we anticipate that we're going to give them a deadline on when to be done?
When they,
To complete it after they start in September?
well, we have until August of '25, but the firms that we had talked to before estimate that it would only take 6 to 8 months to
That's
complete.
awesome.
So it's not a heavy lift, but it's still a lift.
Any questions from the board? Thing we want to hear more on?
You probably said, Greg, where are the plans right now? The status of the plans?
Right now, it's only schematic, so the CM will coordinate to finish the construction documents so we can go out to bid.
Anyone else? Any other questions on the RFQ? All right, summer recap. God, it feels like it just started.
We're tired, and it's only the beginning. Summer has started with a bang. David and Caroline have done a fantastic job. Thank you, Steph, for the email out. Camp started last week.
Started great.
And I mean, Caroline has her staff working like a fine oil machine. No lines. In my 20 years here, there's always been a line to check in that first day. There were no lines whatsoever. People walked up, were greeted nicely, standing smiles, and those returning campers were greeted with their first names. And so it was nice to see. David's lifeguards have been rock stars. This heat has not been an easy start for the summer, and they stepped up big time when that heat last week came in, and their staff did an awesome job. And we've been hitting capacity at the pool with the summer camp there every day, obviously, because it's 225 people we can let in. So we've been juggling those numbers, and just to give you how different this year looks to last year, we are already about $7,500 ahead of revenue at the pool concession stand than last year, with 4 more days left.
Great.
Last year we had a little over $12,000, and right now we're a little under 20.
That's great.
So keep it hot.
Keep it hot, rain at night, and keep the sunshine coming. So it's been good.
Does that count the entrance fees as well too?
Correct.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's great.
But that does not include our season passes, which we can attest we've had consistent lines at our office for season passes. So people are coming in, they realize the value of getting a season pass. And so a lot of times on these hot days, we'd have 2 to 3 people in line waiting for a season pass.
Nice.
And I want to thank Parks and Rec for pulling together a staff for June 19th. I know that it was a holiday for the town, and I really appreciate the fact that it was such a hot day that you guys were willing to pull together a staff of people to come and open up the pool. And I know we got feedback, actually, somebody had mentioned to me that they were so grateful that it was open because they did not expect, they didn't know what to do that day. They were so hot, so thank you.
Yes.
And thanks to your staff for doing that.
We have seen a very big uptick as well in our Tuesday, Thursday mornings. A lot more people are realizing we're open, and especially with this heat. So the little one, you see a lot of little ones with their parents come in and cool off, and it's been a benefit that we have those days on really hot days, because Caroline's been able to allocate some campers to go down and cool off when it's 90 degrees, so they're not roasting all morning.
That's awesome. Anything else for summer recap?
Do you have anything?
No?
So I was actually, and this was actually this morning, somebody was talking to me about this, so I kind of wanted to bring it up. I am so impressed by field trips, and I'm blown away by the field trips, especially for teen camp. In fact, I want to go to teen camp because of it.
Tomorrow.
Well, so that's where it came up from somebody, was that the field trips are a little more pricey than I think some parents were expecting for, field trip for tomorrow, $80 per camper. And then when I went down, I saw $100 per camper for one of the field trips. And they're great, and their specialty field trips, which are amazing. I bring this up because somebody did bring it up because they have to work, and granted, their teen probably could be home, but they don't really trust their teen to be home. That's why they have them at camp. And when they were talking to me, my brain was going to that. I don't know if there's a possibility potentially next year to be able to, on those days, maybe have a second option, like, and I know that you'd have to split the staff and everything too, but I don't know, I'm just brainstorming or spitballing on it, that if you've got, some kids that, could go do a beach day still, maybe instead of just the surfing, some of the kids could hit the beach that day. Some could do the surfing if they wanted to pay in to do the surfing, and then the others could be at the beach and have that time as well. But we've got plenty of time to talk about it. I know that parent they weren't upset, but they were kind of like, oh, I know my daughter really wants to do it, but there's no way I'm going to give her, pay $80 for her to go on a field trip, and especially where we just had one and more coming up. So I don't know what your thoughts were on that, about potentially, because one of the things that we do as Parks and Rec too is try and make it available and affordable to everybody that we can. That becomes
Stephanie, if I may, I feel like this is a bigger conversation that might be better under like new business or an agenda item, in terms of better understanding the scholarship options for what are available to families, rather than fielding one person's complaint at the rec board meeting.
Okay, we can absolutely do that then. I figured where we're under summer recap, it would be
I just think it's a larger, it leads to a larger conversation about what are the options that the rec allows families who reach out to them to say that this is not a cost, this is cost prohibitive for me and my family, and the rec might have solutions for that. And I think that would be a great educational opportunity for all of us as well, to learn those options.
Sure, we can do that.
A couple other quick updates I just wanted to share too. We had a successful senior summer barbecue. There were 81 registrations. I don't think we had all 81 there, but it was still a great time. Thank you to everyone who came to help out. Thank you to our sponsors again. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll be having a lot more senior luncheons, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. At the pool, we have 2 sponsors, so we're trying to get 2 more. It's Peru Oil and Propane, and as well as Smiles by the Sea Family Dentistry. So that's going well. The radio is working really well. We have all sorts of messaging about concession stand and what else do we have? Just an update, just a notice that from 1 to 3 camp is there, so we may reach capacity. So we're able to put in any kind of message that we want that gets played throughout the day. So I think it's really informative. It makes a really good environment. The music's great, and we're able to do on-demand messaging too. So if we have to close for inclement weather, we just made one. There's an hour left. Please prepare to gather your belongings and things like that. So it's working out really well. We just had, so we talked a few months ago, or maybe even last year now, about overnight trips with Colette Travel. So we had our first trip return from South Dakota about a week ago, and we had a couple that were with us for the guided history walk downtown that was yesterday, and I was talking to them about it, and they were like, it was fantastic. Loved the group, loved the people leading the group, hotel, restaurants, everything. They loved it. They were like, we would go back again in a heartbeat. So I was really glad to hear that, with it being the first one. We got a little over $1,400 commission for that, and then European Christmas markets were at $4,100 too. So we could still take registrations for that, but it's kind of depending on availability. But I'm really happy with those 2 trips. And then we do have the Alaska one in 2025 if anyone's interested. We were able to add more private swim lessons, which is great because all of our swim lessons, almost all of them are full. There's a few spots, but we added some private swim lessons, which is a one-on-one ratio, and those are filling up quickly too. So there's only a couple spots left. And we added 3 kayak outings. First one is July 1st, and then July 8th and July 15th. We've kind of had our interns sort of lead those and, create marketing and advertise for it. And they'll be the ones leading the outing. So we're really excited about that. If you've never been on the Squamscott by kayak, it is really cool. We're going to go down. You can kind of take a right by the golf course and go down some really cool canals. It's super easy, especially with our kayak cradle. So I would definitely recommend anyone going, all ages. It's very inclusive, so it's going to be a good time, hopefully.
And just as a reminder, we do, for anyone listening, we do rent our kayaks as well. So you can stop into our office Monday through Friday and reserve a kayak for the day or for the weekend, whatever you prefer, and it is super accessible and a lot of fun.
Yep.
Do you have 2-person kayaks too?
We do, yes. And we have life jackets for anyone from 0 to 100,
Yeah.
however old you are.
Or large.
Or large, yes.
I think that's probably it for summer recap for now.
Are your kayak rental guides, your tour guides, water lifeguard certified or water safety certified?
They're not, but Caroline had I don't know if it's still active or not, but we were
it's
gonna
not, yeah.
we were gonna take them out and kind of teach them, mostly Caroline. Like what do you do? And we have literature too on like what happens if you capsize and
It's not like the Swampscott's that far from the shore.
right, exactly.
And we provide them with all the equipment, like the pump and the dry bag, and
Yep.
so
Yeah.
if they do tip over, they should be able to pull themselves out.
But like renters, like Caroline made some really nice literature. Like here you go, this is what you do. Like safety with boats. Like which side do you go on? And so it really covers all the bases in regards to safety. And
We have it in big print down at the dock
Yeah.
too, so that's nice.
Do you, Seven Rivers or Seven Sisters?
Seven Rivers.
Seven Rivers does a map, a laminated map of the little bay, so people can like see where they are and
Yeah.
see where they're going.
I like that idea.
That would be
It would be helpful, yes.
like, or
Wonder
even,
if conservation has something.
yeah.
We can ask.
All right, that's, any other things on summer recaps, guys? I think the summer recap. Anything additionally that you want to add, guys?
No.
I would just like to say that being out and about recently, I've had multiple people ask me to pass on to the rec department, and Caroline in particular, how great camp is going.
Thank you.
I'm sure you were included, David.
No, Caroline's done a fantastic job with camp. Like Greg said, that first day, I mean, flawless.
It was.
So the staff are well trained and everyone's very happy to be there. So
Even at drop off the other day, Alexis said, "Where is everyone?" Because we got there, the parking lot was empty because you guys get people in. It was great. It's like a whole different world though this year. It's awesome. You're doing a great job. All right, guys. Senior programming grant, David.
yeah, so we were invited by Exeter Hospital. The grant is through Beth Israel Lahey Health now that they've merged. So we were invited by them, a couple other local organizations too, but they invited us to apply for this grant for senior programming. Can I say the amount?
Yeah.
So it's not official. I'm still applying for it. The deadline is Monday, but it's $30,000 for senior programming. So really, the guidelines are anything that will help your programming. So we had, a lot of ideas. At first, it really started with, paying instructors. Some of our programs, we have paid instructors. So helping reduce the cost so more people can join. moved into luncheons. Luncheons, I think by far we get the most people, just a wide range of ages and interests. It's great because it addresses issues like isolation, which is a major issue for older adults, food insecurity, and it's just a good community cohesion event. So we're going to be putting in for monthly senior luncheons with a mix of Greg doing the cooking. No, we'll be cooking some of it, and then we'll also be doing some catered meals, just to not put so much of a burden on us. Like every month we have to cook for 80 people. But it'll be a good mix, and it's funny. We actually, some of the feedback on the senior summer barbecue, people preferred the food that Greg cooked more than the Sweetheart senior luncheon, which was catered, which is interesting. But I mean, nice job. So we'll do a mix, and that'll help spread the money out too. If we did every luncheon catered, it would take a big bite. So we're looking at luncheons. I actually reached out to Bryn. She connected me with their senior program coordinator, who gave me a couple of really good leads on instructors. Hampton and Newmarket as well. So we're looking to add more new programs. Trips too. We've had suggestions on doing coach buses for some of our longer trips. We do stop on our long trips for bathroom breaks, but we've heard that a bathroom on board would really make a big difference and probably get more people that likely wouldn't join. So we're gonna do, right now our 3 interns are looking into 3 separate trips with a coach bus. And these are, like one of them we're looking into New York in December. So these are like longer trips. The Von Trapp Family Lodge maybe next spring. So yeah, I mean that's really exciting. We'd be able to obviously get a lot more people on this trip. Our van is 15 people. We take about 13. So with a coach bus, we could get 50, 55. I think it holds. So we're looking into those. And then our other trips, maybe just like reducing the cost a little bit more, subsidizing them more. But then another really exciting piece to this is we'd like to use a portion of the grant to get a part-time senior program coordinator. The Keegan report did suggest that the town hire a full-time senior program coordinator. Our senior council is definitely in favor of that. The reason we're going with a part-time senior coordinator, a couple of reasons. One of them, the Parks Division desperately needs 2 full-time staff. So we are putting in for 2 full-time park staff in our CIP for 2025. In our budget, yeah. And so we're also going to be putting in for a part-time senior coordinator in the budget, but we're going to be matching a portion of it through the grant. So hopefully Budget Recommendation Committee will be excited to hear that. Hopefully it'll help them support it and then help the voters support it as well. Obviously, we may not get funding next year from Exeter Hospital. So, that could be a little bit tricky next year. Also, next year, are we keeping it at part-time? Or are we trying to go for a full-time position? So I think other departments have been successful with this approach, going part-time and then going to full-time, baby steps. So I think that would be great for the department to get a 20-hour-a-week person. It allows for a flexible schedule, so I think a lot of people would be interested in the position. And the 3 of us would definitely work closely with them, obviously, and I think it would do a lot of good for the community. It's been a long time coming, so yeah, those are the big pieces of the grant. It's kind of a lot, but I'm excited that we're not just going for like just a full-time senior program coordinator. We're kind of spreading it out as much as we can.
And that grant requirement is just for anything related to senior programming?
Yes. Yep. And the project, or in our case projects, need to be implemented between September of this year and September of 2025. If we don't spend, we would probably spend all the money in this case, but if we didn't, you can apply for an extension. But yeah, those are pretty much the guidelines. It doesn't have to be for residents only. It could be, say, a non-resident wants to join one of our trips. We could use some of this grant money for that. We could partner with other organizations too. Yeah.
The other thing about a coach bus is for long trips like to New York City is every seat has a power outlet so people can charge their phone.
Yep.
Because on a 18-hour trip, if you're driving out to New York, like people will lose their phone power and that's not always safe, especially if it's like older adults. And
Yeah.
that's the benefit of Coast too.
Right.
Not Coast, excuse me, the coach.
Yeah, but speaking of Coast, I also just want to mention real quickly, we're talking trips and older adults and accessibility, wheelchair accessible vans. So we've partnered with Rockingham Nutrition Meals on Wheels, the blue van you guys see around, that is wheelchair accessible, and they've been great to partner with, and we're going to keep doing that as much as possible for our luncheons and trips or anything like that. But I was on a call today with Coast, and when they have vehicles that are ready for pasture, they do put them out to auction, and that is an option. They were actually talking about a wheelchair accessible van today, and I told them, let us know. Exeter would definitely be interested. Some of these vehicles that go up for auction are like $1,500. Wow. Could we squeeze a few more years out of it? I think we could. Our DPW has, do we have a mechanic?
Yes.
now? Yeah, we do. So that's an option too, and I'll definitely stay in their ear on any vans that go for sale that are wheelchair accessible. So that is the only thing too, real like just little of with this grant. I'm like, I know we're talking trips and coach buses, but like it's that wheelchair accessible van that I know is going to come up, and we've talked about it too. Like, do we purchase one? Right now, it's kind of on hold only because like. Is it like one or two people that really need it? We haven't really so it's.
Can you coordinate with SAU and use their special ed wheelchair accessible van? Because it's just parked all summer.
Okay, yeah. I didn't
It
know
might be
that.
something to reach out to Rusty Lister on.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
So to apply for the grant, if it's due Monday, do you have to detail all the ideas you have in the application?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. Budget, timeline, implementation,
We
descriptions.
met with Assistant Town Manager Melissa Roy on Monday just to go over what we're gonna.
Okay.
Per her suggestion, maybe that's the senior coordinator. Like,
So all this is broken down up to 30K or
Yeah.
roughly?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Yep.
You'll find, Nick, the coach buses are pricey. So 3 of them right there, I can say probably $3,600 to $4,000 is gone.
But it seems like it's almost tripling the capacity,
It is. It
at
is.
least, yeah.
So return might be better.
But just to let this board know, Stratum 76ers, that's what they call their senior program. The town of Stratum subsidizes a coach bus for 1 trip per month. So that tells you how much money, and they fill up their trips in a few minutes.
Any more on senior updates? Awesome, Jeff. Thank you so much for everything you
course.
do for him. We appreciate it, guys. Planet Playgrounds, additional fundraising.
Okay, to give a brief recap for those that are at home as well, after a successful warrant article and applying for LW Land and Water Conservation funding for the Planet Playground, there was a subcommittee formed, which technically is under the Rec Advisory Board. There were 3 members, Bryn, Mike, and Stephanie were on it, and we had 3 members from the public. So over the couple of meetings, we came up with some additional enhancements to the current design. Just to let people know, the current design is per the grant, meets the requirements. These are just some things that we had come up with as a group that might enhance it even more to make it a better playground for everyone.
Yeah, an overall site.
Yeah.
Some of it's, like, benches would be outside of the playground.
Correct. Yeah, benches, picnic tables, shade structures, a mural wall, Additional ADA surfacing, and I'll get into details of why that wouldn't be covered under the grant. And then an additional element, and I wanted to throw it out to you guys for feedback of how we want to approach this fundraising. I had said we'd have it all nailed down by June, but I want some feedback from you guys. How do we approach it? Right now, without the shade structures, we need to raise $110,000 to meet requirement, or then get all of these other enhancements. Some of them are easier to get than others because we do have already a memorial bench program and table program, so people can nowadays come to the rec department and purchase a memorial bench. We just sold one about 3 weeks ago, so I mean people are still coming in and looking for it. But it's the other elements. Some of them are bigger ticket items, but we don't want to exclude anyone. We want to be able to open it up to anyone. If a family has $5 they want to donate towards it, we'll take $5. If a business has, or an organization has $20,000 they want to give us, we'll take that as well. So how we want to organize it, allow it, and we have some updates where our rec software allows, we're going to be adding a button that says donation/sponsorships to our community portal. So anyone out there that would register online, you get a password, you go to our community portal, and you can log in, you can see all your history and register for any programs. And right now it's laid out as programs, leagues, facilities, everything. There'll be a specific button that says donations and sponsorships. So we'll be able to lay it out there and have, hopefully, I'm waiting to hear back from them because they closed, obviously, possibly embedding it onto a page on our website so people can directly go to the new Planet Playground webpage that we'll create, and that way they can see all the different options for the Planet Playground donation and fundraising. So this is only a rough draft. I combed the internet for playground literature for fundraising, and a lot of them use trifolds. This does fold into a nice little trifold. But we want to give examples like the Alta is one of the things that we want. So how do we describe the Alta? Show it. Or the ADA mats. How do we describe an ADA mat? We want to show it on a playground. And then the current design, and then a picture of our lovely bench that we often use. So I want to throw it back out to you as the board. What is some ideas from you guys that you would like to see? Do we break it down by business and organization versus individual? Do we just throw it out all in one lump sum? Do we want to raise more than $110,000 to offset some of the cost of the taxpayers? There you go. I know there's a lot I'm throwing at you.
I had a couple notes. You mentioned within the 110,000, the shades aren't in there?
They're not.
Shades are not in there. I'm still waiting for a quote from that.
Because I think it might be useful to put some line items, costs.
Yep.
It makes a little more, like a bench costs this much. I'm not sure if that would be helpful, but it might be more attainable to people to see that, geez, if I put in $5, that's 5% of the cost of a bench. Or
for the benches, we usually for our memorial bench program, what we do is we build in an endowment. So in case the bench needs to be repaired over time, which they inevitably do, we want to be able to replace it at no cost to those people. We do give them a 5 to 10 year, 10-year window. Like we are obviously, there's no guarantee anything lasts 10 years, but if it lasts 10 years and it breaks down, then we can approach those people that have taken it out and say, hey, would you like to help with the maintenance cost of replacing the said bench? The benches we buy are the recycled ones, they don't rot, so they'll be there for a while. And the cast iron ones that you see in downtown, they're heavy duty, they're not going anywhere as well. So, I mean, we buy high quality benches. So, Mike, to your point, I don't know if it would hurt us or help us by putting,
I'm not sure either.
Because suddenly they say, well, you're charging X amount of dollars for this and it really only costs this. Well, then we have to go into more explanation of why.
Good point. Yep.
The one I was really like, all right, the Alta we know installed is $30,000. Bought and installed. So how do we ask one organization, hey, you want to get $40,000? I don't know if that organization exists. But if we break it up, there's 17 elements that would be available for a lower fee of $5,000. Now, granted, or it can go even lower if we really add it up to $30,000. The surfacing, I got the final quote to do all the mats that we want is $48,000 to purchase the mats.
Does that cover the whole place?
That will cover every inch
That was
of it,
my
except
question.
under the giant pyramid climber, which you really don't need because you can't get under there anyways with a wheelchair.
That doesn't seem.
Greg, can you
bad.
clarify, and I'm sorry if I missed this, why we're going mats and not poured surface? Is
Yes.
it cost?
Thank you, Jen. Initially, we wanted to do poured in place, but poured in place is extremely expensive. It would have costed an additional $30,000 to do a playground this size, which comes in, there's some pros and cons to poured in place. Pros, it gets poured in place, but you do have to do a maintenance down the line.
Okay.
It needs to be rehabbed, and sometimes that's as costly as the install,
It's easily damaged.
and it's easily damaged. Where the mats are easily replaced. They're a tile system.
Okay.
So imagine like a carpet tile, you kind of gets damaged, you pull it out, and they're all zip tied together. Unfortunately, they wouldn't qualify for the grant for land and water conservation because specifically with that, you need to build America, buy America. And these mats are produced overseas.
Okay.
So thus, they wouldn't qualify and we wouldn't be able to use any of the grant funds to do it. But we could go above and beyond as a community and put these mats in. And oftentimes, Jen, these mats are now being rolled over, poured in place surfaces that do need to be replaced or repaired because it's easier just to go over it and it stabilizes the surface.
Right.
And now you have a surface that lasts for quite a while. So that's the reason why we would do additional mats, and it would be great. It kind of, I look at it, and there is a picture of it on one of the sides where it's a simple black rubber mat. They don't get hot because of the holes in them, but I look at it as being our starry sky. So if we're a rocket ship, we have stars and the pathways that will lead the wind around the whole entire perimeter of the playground will be our rocket trail, if you want to call it. So, I mean, there's different ways we can interpret it, but it's a great product. There's a couple others out there that the playground manufacturers made me aware of, but they're about the same. They're about $79 a mat. It's plain and simple. And we can get right from the manufacturer. And one of the things that we were talking about, we want to get community involved. This is a perfect opportunity to get the community involved because it's all lifting, putting it in place, zip tying, move on, and just do it in rows. So that's a great way to get a bunch of volunteers to come out and we can mat pretty much the whole entire playground in a day.
If you had to guess how much shade structures are going to be, what would be your best guess?
I'm guessing for we're looking at shade sails to make it so it's easier to take off and on. Probably $5,000 to $6,000 sail structure.
Each, right?
Each.
Yeah.
Susan Drinker had a really good suggestion on that one, and I've actually seen it at other playgrounds as well. Dermatology offices are very, they really have gone out of their way to sponsor those sales for the sun factors.
Yep.
And just on Hampton Road alone, we've got so many, but there's the large one up on the main road as well. There are a lot that we can certainly approach to sponsor those with their names on them.
Oh, and
That's a
absolutely.
great deal.
That's where I broke that one out separately.
Yeah.
Because I feel that one is, we have a market that we can approach.
For sure, yeah.
Just because just recently David got a donation of suntan lotion dispensers.
That's great.
So we're getting them mailed to us. So but it comes out back to the bigger picture. Like, how do we want to structure?
Yeah,
the
I
fundraising?
can't help but wonder, because is it better to do we need $150,000 and the thermometer goes up with all of your donations and you aren't
Tied into one thing.
tied into one thing? Because playground mats might not be the sexy sell. versus an art wall or seating for families, or which might be lower cost items, but like, these things are more tangible
Yep.
for people to wrap their brain around. And you can do specific asks for things like Stephanie was saying about the shades, or for mats, or for, you can kind of ask for the big money, or is it more fruitful to say, we need this and we need you to pay for this? I can't decide, so I can see.
I've been going back and
people.
forth, Bryn, where do we just throw it out there and give increments like 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, 1,000,
Yeah.
or 500,000, and just keep going up and see what organizations or individuals are willing to donate. And at the end of it, we come back and see how much and see how else we can be resourceful. We do have impact fees that are rolling in to the town all the time from new construction. Right now, we currently have $57,000 in impact fees. Do we use some of that to offset some of this cost? I think that makes sense because it is improving and enhancing the design. So, I mean, I've been going back and forth. I
I
wanted
can
your
see why,
opinion
yeah.
before we finalize this and then come back to you and get a final approval and then go to the select board to then start rolling out the fundraising effort.
And the thing about the Alta Swing, while I think it's vital and a vital piece of equipment, it feels, nebulous because people don't know what it is, despite your picture. But no one's going to know that this Alta Swing is
Rock.
that photo.
Yeah.
Unless you kind of fiddle
Put a
with
little,
it.
put a little.
But
They have one at Lincoln Street now,
Yeah,
right?
they have one there.
Oh my gosh, the kids love it.
Yeah, so I feel like people will be, because I was
Maybe
with you.
more people do
and now
know
I think
that.
people are going to be like, oh, they put one of these at Lincoln Street. Yeah, that's great.
But easily, I just wrote it. I could write Altus.
yeah, for sure.
exactly.
So you could lay. I was just playing with this format because
Of
I like the
course,
look
of
of it,
course.
and that way we can distribute them to every business, every public building, just to and have a bunch in your guys' possession that like you run into someone like, hey, do you know we're fundraising for some other
Yeah.
enhancements? Yes, the town and the residents have been generous. They voted in overwhelmingly to replace Planet Playground. But there was a budgetary crunch. We didn't want to come in with saying, oh, we want $750,000 because it might not have passed. So this is our way to,
Well, I love the
Overcome it.
idea of the additional amenities, like, if you were to kind of lead with that, like, we had this amount of money for the vital components of the playground, but we know how important art is to this community, we know how important all ages to be able to gather. That was the other thing as I'm reading through here. This is the feedback we constantly get, is that we have to make sure that when we talk about playground spaces or open park spaces, that we're all ages or grandparent friendly or what
Yep.
have you. Like, that's what made our rec community center, get so much pushback
Yep.
the first time around. So I think we want to tread carefully with wording that we're putting out to the public, that we're making sure that this is,
I tried to include
Yeah.
playground for all.
yeah.
Families make memories and kids keep active.
Yeah.
Like just trying to put
Maybe
those
if
key
figure out
words,
how we can put the word grandparent in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
multi-generational.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we need to think about, because you're right, it's a struggle. Do you say all donations into one pool for this list of things, or do you have them sponsored as levels? And I think we need to figure out, some people like to be anonymous
Yep.
as donors, but some people really do want their names on things. So if we do it as a pool type of setting, how would we recognize those who want their business or their families
Well,
recognized?
I
with
think
plaques and
when we
things
do
like
the
that?
levels, we can break it out the levels, like
Senior
your platinum
level, maybe.
sponsors,
Yeah,
blank.
Platinum sponsored.
so do like a list at the beginning,
Yeah,
like
and
like
that's
they
where
did the entrance.
how to help donors will be recognized with a custom sign at the park's entrance, as well as that's when I was sticking with individual plaques,
Right,
which I'm
right.
fine with eliminating, because honestly that's another maintenance issue, because plaques disappear. Even our memorial benches, like, oh, I went to my dad's bench and the plaque was gone.
Yeah.
All right, whoop, ordered. He'll hear in 2 days, and I replace it like that.
We've talked about too having the Neptune radio in Planet Playground, so I'm wondering, with that comes like a second station, which is another fee. So the sponsors just like the pool, pay for the fees and the equipment, but I wonder if we could somehow incorporate it into this fundraising effort too.
Well, if we have it wired into the pool, I don't think we really need a second station.
The same station?
It could be the same station, and then change the stingers.
It'll say like, welcome to the Dan Haley pool.
Yeah.
When you're in the playground.
That's true.
I like Stephanie's comment about the $5, and I'm just curious about, the camp is really your captive audience, and I wonder if at the end of the summer, like if you had a lollipop festival or something, is like, could it be also tied into some sort of fundraising effort for, like, to kick off the fundraising campaign? And camp families might be excited about that if we kind of phrase it properly, because their kids are the ones who really use it the most, so they have the most buy-in.
Yep.
If it were to get improved and have some of these extra.
That could be a really good.
I would agree. I think the two-pronged approach from some of the bigger donors to this community friend, any amount unlimited, could be the real key. So most of the fundraising over the last couple of years for a lot of big efforts have moved to more volume of smaller amounts. This has been really successful.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still a cool thing, but I know when I was a kid in the 80s, they would have like a video game, and the kid who helped collect the most money on behalf of the Parks and Rec would get, like, I guess nowadays it's like a Switch or whatever. I don't know if that's still like a PC sort of thing to have kids go out there and go door to door or online nowadays to collect money, but if there's some sort of vehicle to have the kids that use it most help with in a positive spirit, that could be a real difference maker.
Yeah, because attracting kind of the kids who use it or the families who use it is going to probably lead us to some of these deeper pockets as well. By simply asking for the $25, it's going to lead you to the $5,000 and $10,000 donations through the business owners, et cetera, who see that. But, I mean, it's going to take a multi-pronged approach. There's not going to be one path to $110,000.
No, they're actually, and that David has a call next week with, is it a comedy troupe?
Oh, they're called Scriptless in Seattle. It's sort of like a Whose Line Is It Anyways type comedy.
And possibly as like, do fundraising efforts that way. Like, when you get a captive audience there, and we're raising money for X, the enhancements are playing a playground, it may entice more people to show up for it. And especially if there's possibly beverages, kind of loosens some pockets.
So I don't know if this is something that we'd want to think about. We do this for baseball at St. Thomas every year. The poker rooms, I know this is poker, it's recreation, right? The poker rooms in New Hampshire, in order for them to operate, they need to do a donation to offset that every single month, I want to say. And we actually put in for it, it's a $25,000 donation that they do. They bring in an awful lot, but in order to stay operating, they have to donate a portion of that. And it's just an application process, and we get it every year.
I wonder if
because there's one in Dover, there's one in Berlin, there's one in there are a ton of them around. I know the Dover one, I know the contact person there, but there are other poker rooms we can try if they're all tapped out. But it's an easy, quick donation, and they're looking to get it out because they want to bring more people in, and they have to give out a certain percentage.
Does the St. Thomas Boosters, are they a 501c3?
So we, as parents, are 501c3, and we do it through 501c3 as well. Yes. So it's actually two of us. It takes two of us every season to do it, and we just do it because
you do have to be a 501c3.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
And everyone wants the Brook. The Brook's waiting list is like 7 years, but all the smaller ones, you can still hit them up. And we just got like the Hampton one for baseball.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's a great, easy pull, and it's something they have to do, and we don't have to go to people for it. That's a really good one. And then we also do another thing that brought in about $12,000. It was it's an online, I can't think of the name of it. I'll come up with the name of it afterwards. It's right at the tip of my tongue. It's making me crazy as to, but it's a use of, using Facebook and social media to be able to do donations. I'll think of the name of what it is, but the poker room's a really good one to start with. They're easy. They're eager to give because they want to continue to operate. So I'll get you the information and the contact, at least for the Dover one, and then we can find out from others through there.
Does our registration system have the option of like a round up when you register for something?
It does not.
It does not.
No.
No.
Yeah.
As it is, we tack on the service fee.
Okay.
So people get dinged with the service fee. But there'll be a donation page on that registration so that people, and honestly, they would have to sign up, but they could put a note in there, please leave my name off of it. Or they could drop off 5, 10, they could drop off a cash or check to us at our office too as well. And we could have donation boxes where people could drop checks.
You can build a program on Rectus. Like I did that for summer camp scholarships, and we raised a few $100s. That was through $5 and $10 donations, like you said. So we could do that as well. It's just an additional place that people.
Is there a way to connect with, that's a really good suggestion with the Roundup, because it's amazing how much it brings in with such a little impact on people's wallets. But is there a way that we could connect with downtown businesses to do, like, say when we go to, Hannaford's, and they're like, do you want to round up for, childhood cancer or things like that? Can we work with the downtown businesses to be able to implement something like that where it's put into, or just businesses in Exeter in general, like, if they could do a roundup on it, that could generate quite a bit of
I know
revenue.
Jersey Mike's does.
Yeah, we could pretty much sign up for community nights at Jersey Mike's all the time.
But I mean, just for purchases for a certain period of time, like a 3-month period where they ask their customers, would you like to round up to, for Planet Playground, building or whatever, we ask them to say.
We can always ask.
Like, do like a window of
What's
time.
your deadline for this money?
We'd like to try to raise money by October, November
Of this
of this year. Yeah.
Okay,
Aggressive.
okay, that is aggressive.
Okay.
But we could also push it back to the spring of 2025.
Well, the beauty of an art installation and picnic tables and some of these elements don't
Yep.
have to be bought.
Correct. It's really when the
Immediately.
playground's going in, and depending on the timing of it, like the mats and the Alta would be, and the
They're-
shade sails would probably be
Yeah. Those are
the
critical
three
items.
things that need to be put in when the playground gets installed.
My guess is the motivation would be to keep it a unique infrastructure, and the difference of Planet Playground right now, it's pretty unique. It's not like a bland sort of thing you see and I think maybe that's some fear from some residents that it'll be sort of a bland thing, and this could be a motivation to kind of spice it up a little bit and customize it to Exeter.
It's surprisingly, every time I run into a kid up there at the park, they're asking when is the new playground coming in. They're anxious for the new playground, and especially where we're holding it together with spit and gum.
Yeah.
Really right now.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's a big fundraising event that we could host.
So it's funny you say that, because when I broke the news to staff that this would be the last summer of this Planet Playground before we get the new one, they were pretty upset. And they're like, can we have a funeral for Planet Playground? And tying it into like Lollipop Festival and having like a one last play / funeral could be
Cut it apart and buy pieces of it.
Yeah, honestly, like small, that would be.
Kids would absolutely want that, and I know my staff is already like, can I get this piece and this piece? So.
That might be a fun idea.
That's a bad idea.
Also, on your brochure, Planet Playground, like blast off to help us, or reach for the stars, or blast off to fundraising. And there needs to be more puns around space.
So the Alta slide at Lincoln Street School is the same thing? Might be good to get
I
a,
think it's called an aero glider at Lincoln Street, I think. We might just be calling it something.
I think it's America. You have America Playground, which is the same playground that would be similar to this.
it might be good to get an actual photo of that.
Well,
Yeah, use that instead of, the other thing is, I would put the deadline on here, like, this isn't just going on for the next year, like, this is,
October 24th.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
tiny.
Tiny.
oh, got it. It's like it needs the thermometer with like a deadline that everyone recognizes as a fundraising thing, except it's not a thermometer, it's a spaceship.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fueling,
Yes.
fuel tank.
Fueling the
Stop.
Planet Playground gas tank, yep. So yeah, with this new sense of urgency, I think you need to start sicking the Planet Playground committee ladies out into the community with their power.
Well, I think this is gonna be a full rec board.
No, I know, but I'm just saying those ladies are like raring to
Yeah.
go.
Well,
Oh, absolutely.
we'll have to discuss more on that too.
I went to the Key Collective. They had a fundraiser at Abenaki Country Club recently, and this is just reminding me of it. I know, I'm sure that took months and months of planning. They had some really great gifts, things to auction on, a silent auction. I'm just gonna throw that out there too. I wonder if one of the businesses around us would be willing to like use their venue. Thinking of a nice one right around here, and but again, I mean that takes a lot of time and effort too. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm just thinking like, so we're gonna work on this, and then people are just gonna go calling and not like, is there an event that we want to do that really?
That's what I'm
I know
trying
we
to
were
figure
talking
out.
about the
How do we-
Lollipop Fest. To me, that seems like it might be. It's down the road a little
Is
bit.
there-
6 weeks from now.
Yeah,
When are the fireworks?
July 13th.
Is there a way, who hosts the fireworks?
We do.
You do?
Yeah.
Is there a way to announce the fireworks with the second paragraph being, we're blasting off, we're sending these into space, we're sending Planet Playground fundraising out into the world? Like, can we kind of tie that together, our language together on that?
It's a good idea too, because everyone, I mean, the fireworks are free, right? So hitting people up for a few bucks at a free event, you're like, wow, we're getting this great entertainment for free. Now there's like a place where while you're coming into the fireworks, maybe there's donation or even literature you can pick up. So that pairs well too, just with like the blasting off puns and everything.
Do we have can you make like a QR code
Yeah.
that people can donate?
Yeah.
Like just a quick
Yeah,
Venmo
that's that.
scan
I'm
or
waiting for
however.
Rec Desk to create that button. So.
We can even contact the restaurants in town too, see if they're willing to put those on their tables for people to donate while they're there. Or-
Yeah.
Trouble with Rec Desk is you do have to create an account,
Yeah.
which is a little bit of a barrier for quickly donating. It takes a few minutes unless you already have an account. So it might be worth
Yeah.
investigating
Other.
Can you set up a
fundraising
rec
avenues.
Venmo? Is that?
Your GoFundMe or
Yeah,
something.
something.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
a GoFundMe, but
Yeah.
like a Venmo account that links to the.
Is there,
I don't know how
is there
that
a bank
works.
account for the nonprofit
Friends?
Friends?
There is.
That's gonna,
But
that
it's-
could be a bank account. You-
And it's 501c3 already, so.
No, they didn't complete
thought
the
they-
paperwork. They became a nonprofit in New Hampshire, but the paperwork never got finished.
Do we know how hard that would be to complete that, to get the 501c status?
Because we'd need that for some of for like poker room stuff, we'd need that status to get it.
I don't know if that's, like, is that just an application we could throw in with the names of everybody
Yeah.
on it as a board, like
Yeah.
who was on it, but that,
I gotta do digging.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
we
know
look
either.
into that? Because that's really important as far as how we can manage these and.
right, yep.
I was just combing through too while we're talking about this, and Dave, you mentioned doing an auction type of thing at a venue, but I just pulled up large venue, large fundraising opportunities, and one of the things they were saying was online auction. So if we can find places to, donate items, we could potentially set up, a rec online site, be able to maybe do somehow figure out how to set up the auction that way.
Yeah.
That way we wouldn't have to worry about a venue, and then it could be pretty expedited pretty quickly and turned around pretty quickly. I didn't even think of that until coming through, but that may be
That
an
way you could
option.
also auction cool pieces of the playground and promise like the tip
Yeah.
of the rocket ship.
I like the idea of the selling off of the Planet Playground and tying that into Lollipop Festival. If we could do something in July, that's going to happen in August. What can we do in September? October, could we do something Halloween-y at the Halloween parade or whatnot? Like, again, what's already happening, and how can we pair a fundraising element to every one of the things you're already doing rather than creating a new event? The only thing I keep thinking about too is the thousands and thousands of people who come to the holiday Santa train bonanza tree thing. There's so many people there and too many people to do everything. Like there's so many people just standing in line waiting. And if we could have one more event just this year, not in perpetuity, but like to get all of those people to go somewhere that they would then be giving money. I'm just trying to think about like how else could we harness the power of those thousands of people just standing around? Could we rent a tent that has auction items, or could we rent a tent that when you go in and it's like cordoned off as a beer garden or something, and the money is going to us? Because there's just a lot of people at that event.
Sounds like a cornhole tournament is
For those
needed.
dang Christmas trees.
Is there something that we could, I mean, you'd have to move quickly on it, but is there something that we can put up at the pool and at the courts, and like when people are walking in, like a QR code that you could scan that gave like a 30-second video of like coming soon, and then in the end it gives you an option to donate and like blast it all over the place, so you almost can't avoid it in the playground.
Awesome idea.
At the court.
And it's tied in something kind of creepy-ish, so I just, for my mom, for her birthday, just got a QR code to put on my dad's stone he just passed, where you can scan it and it pulls up like a video of his life. It's actually cool. If people are walking by, they can kind of do it. Something like that would be, they clearly make them. I mean,
We could have like a little kid stepping on a nail at Planet Playground and get a tetanus shot. And maybe like there's some blood, and then now we need a new playground.
Yeah.
You want this to be your child?
You can buy a piece of this, though.
Here, these memories are forever.
Exactly.
I think to Caroline's point, let me talk with finance director about maybe, not GoFundMe. There is a park fundraising site. I gotta research it.
You need to be able to get the money easily.
They don't take as much out of it as GoFundMe, but it's made for park projects. It's basically mostly out in the Midwest, but it's something where it's easy, where we put a QR code up, and to Jen's point, have that video running like this is the future.
I mean, it sounds like something for the radio too.
Welcome to Buck Rogers. Yeah.
This for the local cable access and such.
Yeah, I forget. I'll have to find it. It's specifically for parks. I saw it at a national conference a couple years ago, and they do it for parks projects.
We just have a huge audience right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about the revenue that's coming in down there, and them seeing it, and maybe you could you get this picture like blown up and hang it on the fence and be like, coming soon, we need you, like, let's advertise it now.
Do you have a tipping option on your like paid screen at the little rec park thing, and like $1 for the Planet Playground?
I do like this idea. I will say, while the Trifold has some good information about what it's doing in specific, elevator pitch or just a really succinct tagline will help, because if someone gives this like the 10-second perusal, they're going to think it's money to build the new playground, where it's not. It's to enhance it and beautify it, make it more accessible. So how is that communicated in like one succinct sort of elevator pitch? Which I'm sure there's an answer to that. Maybe we'll go to the wordsmith to my left here. But Yeah, something like that. If if there was a QR code, that could be really impactful. If there's something cool and then like some sort of
But
space.
having the design blown up on a banner with a QR code where it leads right to a fundraising donation.
Right where
like,
they
boom.
took right where they took that big huge bush down,
Yeah.
right there on the pool.
Yeah. But in the
Or
pool
on the-
building? Oh, my parks guys are very now.
No, I know.
They don't want to
won't
hang anything
hang.
on that pool building.
Yes, that's true. But I'm just saying, like, put it on the fence or somewhere, like we have
Right,
an
walking in the
audience.
playground or right, somewhere.
I mean, right, even on the tennis courts, the
Yeah.
fencing of the tennis
Yeah,
courts.
the
you
fencing on the
can't
tennis
walk by
courts
it.
and
Yeah.
And there's,
Pickleball tournament,
yeah, it's coming up. I mean,
like, that's the Big Brothers Big Sister one, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what are,
I think it's a good
every $25
reorganization.
registration
All money
comes
goes-
right to the rec.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ching, ching.
I mean, usually they're not doing them in the fall, right? So having a fall one, because usually they do in the summer, right? So having a fall one.
tournament could bring
There's
in
only
some
the
big
one in
money.
July.
Yeah.
Do one in
Last
August,
year,
do one
Big
in
Brothers Big
September.
Sisters raised $46,000 in one weekend.
Well, that's what we're talking about. And here we go.
It's Bob Duchamp.
And another thing, trying to find things that we don't have to organize so much. There's something that also popped up. It was a community yard sale, and it could be if we worked with, we'd have to work with people at Swayze. I don't know if they'd allow us to do it, or even if we did it down at the park, where people would bring their things. You'd have a QR code where instead of people giving money to the people that are selling their things, they just scan the QR code and it would immediately go to, okay, I sold this, and it went to, so understanding that the funds that you're selling your merchandise for is going to go to Parks and Rec.
Stephanie, you were so spot on with this trend. So in Portsmouth, we have Port Swap. We've been doing it for 10 years, but this past spring we did, and it's just clothing, but we now are going to do sports equipment,
Yes.
we're going to do home items, but we had 750 people in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, people just want to get rid of stuff, and they, like, and then we say all the clothes get donated elsewhere, and so people get excited
So
about
they
the
don't have to
prospect
take
of it being donated somewhere. 'cause
And
they
you-
don't take it home, but
You pay to get in,
Yeah.
and then you pay to rent a table, so there's no risk. We don't care
Love
if anyone
it.
sells anything.
Yeah.
So
And then
it's
there's
$25, you get a table, so now I get to tap into the advertising and marketing and public sort of square of, there's gonna be a bunch of
Yeah.
people there.
we've just
right?
like this has been a very popular thing we've
Yeah.
done, and while ours is free to get in, I have begun to think we could do
People
an
pay.
admission, and people, and then the money would go to some sort of scholarship fund or
Yeah.
something.
And as frustrating, I always hear the bake sales have gone back for whatever. Have a table, have somebody set up doing a bake sale. When you go in, have them set up. I mean, because everyone's looking to clean house. It'd be a great thing to do. I'd bring my kids down, for God's sake, make them sell their rooms. Not sell my kids, but everything in their rooms. Bring everything in your rooms and
I
sell
think
it.
especially with sports equipment, because I always get a lot of questions on like, what do I do with this? My kid just
Yeah.
outgrew their shin guards that I just bought. And
Yeah.
We're going to do a sports equipment one. Our intern's going to run it at the
Nice.
end of August. So.
And I mean, you can even do in advance, if we have a little bit of advance time, we can, have tables numbered, and you can kind of let people know if there's a specific, like, say you have all sports equipment you're bringing, or a lot of sports equipment, or, baby things that you're bringing, like what table would have, okay, this table has it, so people aren't walking all around, just kind of like a little bit of a map of.
All of them have special projects.
Steph, was Snap Raise what you were thinking?
Snap Raise, thank you. Oh my gosh, my brain it's Snap Raise. Snap Raise is an easy thing to do, but it's and it reaches, what's good about Snap Raise is Snap Raise reaches not just the people that are online, but then it reaches their friends, and you ask them to share it, and it's people share along the way. And we got donations from people that were in like Texas and Hawaii for St. Thomas baseball, because they were friends of a friend that wanted to help. So it was, thanks,
I
Jen.
think you have to be 501c3.
You do, and I thought we were through Parks, through Friends of Rec, but so we got to look at that. That's key.
We'll help. You just tell us what you want of us as the rec board, and we'll be there to help you. Whether you need a table or forward things on email or hand out brochures, just tell us what you need.
And I can try and take lead on getting 501c3 status done too, because that's really important it's important for us to have as Parks and Rec anyways for future, but for this one especially, in order to get some of the big ticket donations.
Yeah.
People are going to ask us, businesses are going to ask us.
Yeah, we'll look into that for sure and get back to all of you
And let me know what I can do to help Dave on
very
that.
soon. And I think that's a larger discussion too, is how do we get a group back on track with the 501c3.
That's
What
right.
is, we've been talking about if you make a charitable donation to the town.
It is tax deductible.
It is.
It is tax,
Yeah. It's up to $500, right? That's tax deductible, I think.
The town lawyer didn't
Or is
know.
that church? I know church is 500.
Yeah. Not really sure.
So I'm wondering, look and see.
We'll find out that
Tax
number.
deductible amounts. And what would help with the truck owners and things like that too, is if we did end up doing a community yard sale, one of the biggest things, a lot of people can't get their items down. So if anybody, that would be a good volunteer. I mean, I don't know if we'd have to check with Primex on that because people would be using their own vehicles and lifting. But that would be a huge drive too, if people have bigger items that they aren't going to be able to bring down themselves, to say, listen, if you have bigger items, we'll help you bring them down too.
Well, all right, this leads us to another discussion where I believe we need to meet July and August.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think if we're going to be planning fundraising things, I
Mm-hmm.
100% agree. And I don't know if we're going to be voting, so if people are on vacation, perhaps we don't have to have a quorum. Do we always have to have a quorum?
Nope, just if we're voting, and we can always table,
I'm gonna,
we can always
I think
table.
you have to have
a quorum to
a quorum
hold.
to have a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will double check that.
So yeah, let's double check that, because I thought that we only had the quorum to
You can't have a
vote.
meeting without a quorum. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure of that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
We've had
double check that.
A lot of issues with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where people have not showed up and they had to not have the meeting.
Yeah, okay, let's,
Does virtual count now?
Pardon me?
Virtually? Could members?
They can, yeah. They
long
just
as
have to,
someone's
you
away on
just have to,
vacation,
the
maybe.
chair would have to do her, are you in the room? You have to tell you,
Yeah.
say if you're in the room alone,
So we
and
know
it's
you
not
want to be on a
practical for you to
meeting
be
during
there.
vacation.
Pardon me?
We know they want to be on a meeting during vacation.
Well,
But no, so we'll go back and kind of recap all of this, come up with the thing. I'm checking with finance to see if we can do some kind of crowdfunding. I think that having a captive audience of the rec park all summer long and having a QR code, if they can go up and like, oh, here you go, $50, done. Because we have a lot of non-residents
Yeah.
that show up there that would travel. And there's a lot of people, and that way we can put it on this as well, and jazz us up to Nick's point, and distribute it all over. Like, here you go, here's your opportunity.
All the user groups too.
Yep.
Nancy, does having a Google Doc violate 91A?
you'll have to explain that a little bit more.
So-
If everybody's responding to something, it violates 91.
So, not response, so for example, if we did a Google Doc for the
Sign-ups or
committee
something.
based on like just ideas, like similar to what we did with the Planet Playground Subcommittee, where people could, add ideas, suggestions, or so we can kind of more fine tune it. So when we come together in July, we are a little more organized on how to let's bucket things, how we need to bucket them. But if we're not responding to each other per se via email.
So we try to do that as a select board to put our committee reports, and you have to be very careful because if I'll check with Melissa, but
Okay.
I don't know if I can get back to you. It'll be a week because she's
Okay,
on
that's okay.
vacation.
Yeah, she's on vacation,
but
as long as we know before
my
next meeting.
Initial answer is going to say I'd be very careful because
Yeah,
you're
the
still
shared
replying,
element of it.
and you're sharing of it.
Yeah.
So any email with information, that's why we're really stressing that the chair or anybody that sends an email out says, please do not reply to all.
Right. Right.
But a Google Doc, everyone has access to it and they're editing it.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that in essence
So it can
could be
change. Yeah, it's
reply to
live.
all.
Yeah,
in
you're
a
right.
way.
It's a live
So-
document.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a way, so if.
No, people can send you their thoughts and
That's what I
you
was
can
gonna
put
say.
it in
is
an email.
If you guys want to put, if you guys want to reach out to me, if there's anything, any ideas, or either me or Greg or anyone, as long as you're only reaching out to one person and not including the group, we can try and compile some sort of a way to organize this so that it's a little more clear cut next time, so we can have solution based
Yeah,
at
it
the
would
end.
be better to designate that one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, some stuff could.
Well, I do think we have the fireworks coming up, so if there's something specific for the fireworks event that you do decide that that's worth doing something that you would need our help with, I'm on vacation, but if anyone else wants to help.
I mean, I think even just as simple as having a table there with literature and
Yeah.
signage and a donation bucket.
Yeah.
Is
And a QR
easy.
code if you
Yeah.
can do fund.
The band
I mean, that's a quick
mentioning that.
turnaround for you guys in terms
Yeah.
of materials, but, I mean, I think that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how intense is it to get a QR code? Like, how much work is it to be able to?
Minutes.
Yeah,
It's 2 minutes to get a QR code, but to have the appropriate account for it to go into, that's going to be an
That's
issue.
where, let me check with Corey Stevens,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
make sure that we
QR code
can
could go
have
to
a
the
crowd.
website first, and then later go to fundraising. Like, we could do this first, like, let's get people the information as a baby step,
Okay,
because we don't have banking information yet,
Yeah.
or we don't have the financial stuff yet, but you will.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're thinking in just a couple weeks, or start hanging signs in a week, maybe it first goes to the website, and then you can transition it to, the website has a button.
I think that's awesome. I'm going to go with my flightiness. I'll put it out there that if I'm not brought right to a page to donate right away, I'm not going to go back and do it, just because my brain doesn't run that way. So I worry that we're going to
No, we
lose
don't have a way to donate yet, though.
some. Yeah, so I'm saying, like, how
I'll
can
reach out
we
to Corey
get
tomorrow and
this
see. Yeah,
going?
I found the website, it's Patron City, that park projects have been using.
You'll figure it out.
You
Yeah,
don't
they-
have a register as guest option on the,
No.
No.
No, unfortunately. Because we're looking for them to sign waivers, so
Right.
it's hard to register as a guest.
yeah, I just didn't know if
Sign a waiver.
if that was an option to bypass
Yeah.
just for the donation
Yeah.
portion.
And it'd be nice for them to see too, if there's a way, and I don't know if the site's set up this way, that when they go in to donate, they can see it accruing, like where we're at to our goal.
That's probably gonna be more of a crowdfunding website than our rec desk. 'Cause that way they
Fuel
would
our
say,
rockets.
raised X amount of dollars already. So,
Let's just reach out to Elon Musk.
all right, we got our homework to do.
Why
That's
not?
All right.
why I wanna throw it to you first.
And let us know as those come up, as these, my request is that when you figure out what we need to do for a 501c3, can you let us know? Please update us and let us know, with do not reply to all, but, and let us know what you need. And if someone can volunteer to help, they just jump in and let you know individually that they can do it. So the few things you're going to look into, you're going to look into 501c3, you're going to look into QR code. Getting a QR code set up.
So can I make a suggestion about people volunteering to help if, set it up like you do for the Chili Fest, where people
Sign
can
up
send.
Genius.
Yeah,
for-
sign up genius.
And that's not a reply to all, that's the sign-up sheet.
Yep.
If you can do that, that would.
That's great. So sign up genius for what you guys need. And then that way we can see what slots are taken or what's taken already, and then jump in. What else were we getting? We're getting the 501c3 QR code. I'll check on the poker room and let you know. The contacts. And then you're gonna also check into making the banners to put, once you get the QR code, to put the banners up on the tennis courts.
Can I make one more suggestion?
Yes, please.
Greg, the signboard out in front of the town hall. If there's not an event, if it's supposed to be vacant,
Yep.
would you check and see if maybe you could have a poster there when
That's a
there's
good idea.
no event posted?
Yeah.
That's a great
Definitely.
idea.
I'll work on some cool taglines.
Okay.
Mr., and then, all right. And let's reach out, who would you like us to make the contact at Parks and Rec? I know you guys all have your own stuff going on, that's crazy. Who would be the best
Funnel through me. and
to you? Okay, so, all right, guys, so if we have any ideas, suggestions, anything like that, go directly to Greg. And then when you get those ideas, anything that is something that's doable moving forward, if you could just communicate with us, just email, let us know what's going on, and let us know, via Sign Up Genius is great, what you need from us, and how we can help, especially where we're time restricted on things coming up. We really need to jump on this quickly. Conversations are good, but we got to get to action steps on these, otherwise we're not going to be successful with this, so.
Yep.
Right, thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
Patron iCity is a crowdfunding site that is specifically targeting Parks and Rec. For instance, I'm looking Rail Yard Recreation needed to raise $20,000 and they raised $22,000. Downtown Mahan Park Project need to raise 50. They've raised 24 in 35 days. I mean, Connecticut, I see this, so I will reach out to them as well because they have a lot of park projects. They've raised over $41 million for park projects. So
awesome.
it was a good session at Nationals when I saw it.
When's Bob Glowacki going on vacation? Do we know? I think he's going around the same, a couple weeks.
He just walked.
He's just here.
I think he was.
Bob, if you can hear us, when are you going on vacay?
He's going on vacation the end of August.
Hey!
August 21st.
August 21st. Hey, Bob, would you like to feature?
That's Gabe.
Yeah, I know that's Gabe, but Bob's in there. Would you like to feature Parks
he
and Rec?
No, Bob left.
He left.
Oh, all right, well, Gabe, if you guys would like to feature Parks and Rec and what's going on your next town.
We're actually working with them because as of Monday.
You can just come in this seat right here.
I can ask him. I don't choose that thing.
That would be awesome. I will be happy to lobby for us if you
As
need
of
us
Monday,
to lobby.
it's National Parks and Rec Month.
Oh,
So
well, there you go.
something we'll be going to the select board to read a proclamation, but we're going to work with Exeter TV and Will to
Thank
do a little
you.
video.
Thank you,
on
Gabe.
that. And we have a social media campaign that will be launched later this week. And
All
you'll
right.
see post every week. And the theme of this year's is We Belong.
Where you belong.
Where you belong.
Where you belong.
Planet.
Planet.
The new
Out of this world. All right, so that would be a good way to get it out, as well as using that. So I'll let you lobby with them too, and if you need more lobbying, I'm happy to go and
I don't need
beg.
Exeter TV and Gabe and Will and Bob are awesome. To
Yeah,
work
they're
with, and
fantastic.
We go to them as much as we can.
And they do such a good job splicing things together. I mean, you finish talking and you're like, oh God, and then you
Gabe's the
see it.
man when you start talking.
Yeah.
He goes, "Don't worry, just
Yeah.
go."
He'll
Gabe,
edit the
shout
heck
to
out
you,
of it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. All right, so we've all got marching orders. Keep us posted, and we'll jump in, and it's time sensitive. Let's get going on this thing. Any other questions, concerns, issues?
No, just that I think you kind of wanted answers. We got an answer from the lawyer on the subcommittee, and it can be a standalone subcommittee that's town manager appointed.
Okay, so we have to go through interviews again.
No, it could.
Just appointee?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But we do have to take minutes. So
Okay.
next time we do meet, and both Amanda and Susan were unavailable tonight, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But they're still willing to help. So
Okay. Are we going to look to appoint another
person,
community member?
Yeah, we should throw it out there to
Think so too.
see if anyone wants to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, let's do that then.
There's someone that they wanted, that they had invited to meetings.
You were going to have further discussion
Yeah.
on
Yeah, not.
that.
I think we throw it out to the general public too.
Yep. Yep. All right. New business that we've got? I don't already bring anything up. I'll talk to you guys in the one-off on that.
Yep. And that can be an agenda item for July
Yep.
as well.
New business? Anything?
No?
Nope. Old business, I think we've been going over old business. Anything else coming up?
Come to the pool. Buy a season pass. Donate to Play and Playground.
Yes, pretty easy. I like it. All right, guys, we've got our marching orders, so if we don't have any more tonight, thank you for being productive.
I just want to confirm, can I confirm your dates because now they're back on for the
Yes,
summer?
yeah.
July 24th and August 28th, does that sound right?
It is the fourth Wednesday of every month. So
Yeah.
yes. Yep.
So 20, okay,
Yep,
24th and 28th.
thank you.
I will be riding solo on the 28th. It's about
Yeah, that's my due date, so we'll see. May or may not be here.
Awesome.
and David will be on his honeymoon.
Yes.
good gracious.
Yeah, Italy and Greece.
Oh,
So nice.
Yeah.
Stupendous.
That'd be great.
Miss you guys.
No, you don't lie. No, you don't lie well,
Yeah,
Dave. He just turned bright red when he said it. You don't lie well. That's good.
He's got to be zooming in from Italy.
That's right. That's right. That's all right. We can talk to so many people back there. And we'll try and put a subcommittee meeting on those days at 6 if we can. I can actually reach out to Amanda and Susan from now and see if they're available on those days. All right. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight.
Second. Or I'll make.
I need a motion.
I will second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye. All opposed?
Oh, sorry.
You're opposed, Linnea?
Opposed? You want to keep meeting?
All right.
Happy 4th of July.
Thank you,
for
you
tuning
guys
in
as
to
well.
Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.